and we'll roll the old printing press along. We'll roll the old printing press along. We'll roll the old printing press along, and we'll all hang out in kind. Howdy, folks, it's Johan, your favorite little ink blob, back at it today with a continuation of some Celeste. How's it going? Yes, we'll be doing the seasides. Emphasis on the sea. Look, man, I wish there was the ocean here. And yeah, why is it illegal? Illegal noble? Illegal nobo? Johan, why am I in 3C? Because people said to check it out last time, so we checked it out. But yes, we are not starting with 3C. Ba 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 da ba. Why would I? I don't know, but probably had a good reason. Bah. But hope it is going well for everyone these days. Today. Seaside rooms are 5 each. Are 5 rooms each, okay. Wasn't last time a month ago? It was not a month ago. It was last week. Bah. No checkpoints, but really hard? Wait, no checkpoints? Pardon? Hello, Silver. What's up? I mean, look, I figure we'll at least try them. People were saying that we should do them before farewell or whatever. I'll give it a shot. If I'm not feeling it, we don't do it. But checkpoints per room. Okay. Your album could be great background music for streams? Perhaps. If we're doing a stream where we're looking for some background music, if you're all chill with that getting used, Mandy, do that. Yes, yes, no, Bone never lie. Decidedly not. Bah! This is already going great. I can see no way that this goes wrong. Yeah, hope it is going well for everyone. It has been... It's interesting. Got, like, a lot of snow last night? But it has also rained, so now there is no snow, which is a little sad. Hope the distributor doesn't class as an EP because it's long, but not a lot of songs. Oh, and you know, I will be fully honest, I don't know what makes something an EP. I see that term and I've never bothered to look it up. You don't get snow there? Aw. Have you tried making your own snow? Big brain move. Gotta get the death count up somehow. I mean, with me, no. You don't really need to try that hard. Ours Pack 2 EP says album on Spotify, probably because it's 8 songs, which is dumb because it's less than 10 minutes long. Okay. Your own snow, yeah. You just have to go freeze a whole bunch of ice and create a giant grinding machine to shape it into tiny little bits. And then dump it. Voila, your own snow. Bah. This is all... The first 2 jumps already struggling. What could possibly go wrong? We grab... There new Celeste content coming out all the time? I feel like yes. So, we're still in things that are base game, but there's a whole, like, custom level community, so yeah. Yeah, February. Great. Not a fan of February? February did used to be my least favorite month, not from, like, a weather perspective or anything, but, mostly because I really didn't like how February is spelled. Okay, we need to... Oh, your birthday is tomorrow. Very nice, Silver. Well then, an early happy birthday. I hope it is filled with many good things, friends, family, and cake. The important things. All the exams are packed. Oh my god, right, yes. I remember that you had a bunch of awful exams. I did not remember that that was February. Also gotta get depressed for Valentine's Day? You do not need to get depressed for Valentine's Day. Nobo, I don't get depressed for Valentine's Day. I have had very little luck despite very much wanting a partner. You know, Valentine's Day is... I like to call it Hallmark Day. It is vapid and commercial. Do not feel bad because of stuff. It can be a good excuse to get your friends something nice if you want to. Which is funny because there's a big exam on Valentine's Day. Woo! Da Johan. I'm like, Da Johan? Welcome in, Tim. How goes? The puzzle solving has wrapped up. Best time is September, October, because the weather is nice and fun things happen. Yeah, that's kind of my, like, I'm very much a fall guy. No relation to the game. Join the Conlang Discord now in Spectator to see how people do things, just to do them too. Ah, cool. Yes, brain too fried. This is fair. I've been, whoa. Okay, hey, improvement. I've been doing, whoa. Backflip? Wait. I did not see. Was I actually connected? No spin? My god. Why has the bot been not having a good time recently? One moment. Reboot and I will give you that spin. Bot, where are you? There we go. I've been doing a lot of Genshin farming lately because I don't know, I'm kind of on a, my brain is like, what if I did not do things? Although I need to do things because I've got a couple of job applications to put in. Okay. Bot is back. We do flip. Woohoo! All right. Flips for days. Oh no. No, Uno. Flip is only a Johan thing. Mwahahahaha. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of Genshin farming, specifically doing exploration in the new country of Natlan. There are just a lot of puzzles there, so brain is also fried. Wow, it took me a long time to say that, which I suspect evidences that. I'm on that grind because I'm 70 pity into a guarantee on the current banner. I've got like 10 days to get 12 more wishes to guarantee Ganyu. Oh, hello, Robert. Oh, where's the 1 degree rotating? I did turn it off temporarily. I need to think about how to do that because I feel like it is fairly obnoxious. It was fun to have that. I need to think about ways to make it less ungodly obnoxious, I think. There we go. Thank you for the hydrate. You've mentioned several Johan replacements. I did follow the one guy who was doing Baba, so I'll see if I can check out some of his stuff. Boop. Wah! Looks like someone who's just getting started out streaming, kind of like where I was at basically last January, which is super neat. So, would love to support that. Yee. Turns out, those are both actually fairly popular games. Crazy, I know. Oh, right, there was something about Captain America. New Captain America movie on the 14th, so that's going to be highlight of your Valentine's Day. Nice. Man, I have watched, like, that is Marvel, yes. I've watched, like, none of the Marvel films. He did not play Magic. Aha. I didn't see it in any of his stream stuff, but... I mean, playing Magic as, like, for, like, stream stuff is very saturated, so if you're trying to, like, if you're trying to be a streamer, but it is certainly a fun game that a lot of folks play. And it can still be fun to play on stream, so long as you're not expecting to have a whole bunch of folks. It's fun. I played a game of Paper Magic yesterday, which has not happened in quite some time. It's webcam magic. I still need to look at like better ways of doing webcam magic, but it's nice. Like, I've got a collection that's been sitting around for like 6-7 years untouched, so it's fun to actually break those out. What I'm working on is scanning my collection into an app so that I can keep track of it, because I did at one point sort it, but I'd really like to be able to search cards digitally rather than have to thumb through everything. We are currently on 1C, so this is our first C-side, but people kept saying, oh, you should do the C-sides before Farewell, so I'm gonna see. I don't know if we will do all of them. I don't even know if we'll actually do this one, because, goodness, this is a lot of difficulty. At the same time, I'm recognizing, like, streaming is gonna be a lot more infrequent, so it's probably, I think streams are probably going to be Celeste until we get through Farewell, so I don't mind stretching it a bit, I guess. After that, I think I will work on The Witness on stream. I think is a good one that I'm not going to have quite as much fun just, like, doing on my own via pre-records. So, I think I will do that one since I actually picked it up. And, you know, of course, like, occasional lingo kind of thing. So, yeah. But yes, we did finish 8B yesterday, or not yesterday, last stream, which was neat. I am not thinking nor planning that far ahead, Robert. Hey, welcome in, Blazer. Blazer Hazer. You have Pink Eye today? That's not fun. Pink Eye is... I don't know, that's one of those things that I always feel miserable with it, because I hate stuff with my eyes, so... Sorry to hear that, but hopefully we can provide some good distraction for you. I don't know whether or not I'm going to like The Witness, but it's come highly recommended. A lot of people were talking about it to do with lingo, so I picked it up. And yeah, use the walls? Why would I use the walls? No. I don't like walls. Yeah. No. See, walls just mess me up, man. The walls are the bane of my existence. Only walls I like are from Pink Floyd. That one maybe, but that's not my issue. Understood. And I'm going to be very real with you, Robert. I'm not super into meme games. That is, if you haven't noticed, I'm not a really big memer, which I know is probably some sort of crime in the modern day. But like, yeah, not really memes. I understood, but if it has a purpose and a thesis to it, sure. Something that is, like, I guess, if it's a satire of The Witness, and it's an actual, like, proper satire, absolutely. If it's, haha, what if game but funny with an eye? Crap, deletes the thing. It's not that I don't enjoy them, it's just, I'm not super into humor that relies on a huge amount of knowledge, and people just tend to laugh along with, even if they don't know it. Da Celeste. The Looker also has puzzles. Understood. So it is more parody satire. That, potentially. Bum 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 ba dum bum. If you ever say those words again, I will find you. Are we seeing Taken start? I don't know. Humor is an interesting thing, and I don't know if I could like entirely describe my sense of humor, nor am I sure that most people could entirely describe their sense of humor. But I do recognize that what a lot of people find funny, or at least what seems to be sort of the traditional internet humor, does not resonate with me as much. Although I do suspect a lot of that is because, again, the internet has not only a lot of different people on it, but a lot of different subcultures mixing, so you kind of need things that are a humor lingua franca, in the same way that, like, English is kind of the lingua franca of the internet. Although I have noticed that Japanese is also really, kind of becoming, one of those. No Rain World, Big Ed. We finished the Survivor campaign. Don't know if and when I will be picking it up again. But Rain World is done for the time being. At some point, I do want to revisit and do some of the other campaigns, but those will probably be as pre-records. So we are apparently having cake on Friday for absolutely probably as like a little morale booster. I remember during finals week, sometimes places that me and some friends of mine went to school would like bring in like little like de-stressing dogs, and there was actually there were de-stressing goats at one point, which I thought was really cute. I know that they're different. I've also played a fair bit of Rain World, and it is an interesting game, but it is one that in a lot of ways I'm more interested in just knowing about it than experiencing it. No Rain World, you fade away? Alright, no worries, Big Ed. Understood. Thank you for hanging out during Rain World and such. But no, it's like, I'm not done with Rain World, it's just, it is not something that is, I'm not massively compelled to be spending my time on it. Yeah, maybe at some point. It was really cool, and I'm glad I had the experience. I want to play through some of the other ones, just, it is not something that I'm like, oh, okay, let's jump right into the next one. Yeah, I mean, the hunter to me implies that there's a lot of basically necessary combat, which, whoo boy. Bump, bump. I do still need, I still owe you guys the one lore write-up, and I also need to do, I said that I would do a write-up of some of my thoughts on Rain World, which I still need to do. Yeah, man. It's super interesting game. Just, yeah. I guess I do often get a little frustrated with games that have a really cool world and then there's a lot of unexplained parts, and I understand that there's probably more in the DLC and such, but I like to get at least the basic things sort of explained. And like, yes, we learn where the ring comes from and such, but there's also a lot more questions about like what is karma and such. But yeah. Dunno. It was last night also helped a friend finish out Outer Wilds, which was super fun getting to see someone else sort of experience that. Hey, thank you much, Corker. Bop, bop, bop. Yeah. Oh, very nice. City with emphasis on the sea. Ah! We've been doing this for over 20 minutes, so, we'll see. But certainly need all the luck we can get. Bop, bop, bop. Orthography tables? I do need to double check. I've heard the word orthography before, but ba ba ba. What is orthography? Orthography. It'll be cork when we get there. There's some really silly speech rats in this room. I can believe it. Oh, okay. It's literally just the spelling systems of languages. Okay. Or orthographic projection. Depicted on a surface mapped using parallel lines to project its shape onto a plane. Oh, so like the Mercator projection question mark? It's what sounds the letters do. Basically, yeah, okay. How to represent language in a written form. Alrighty. Sorry, also, just a moment. Alright, sorry. One of the downsides to being in quarantine is I am cut off from the kitchen and such, so, when we get groceries in, I, need to coordinate with folks, so I will probably be having some bagels brought around here shortly. Bum bum bum. No! The other thing sounds an awful lot like bad teacher subject. A bit like math? Yeah. Whoa. Bop. Bop. There we go. Reminds me, I will be tutoring today again. Wahoo! I am super excited. The person I'm tutoring is making some really good progress and was solving problems fairly autonomously the past like few sessions, which is great. Love to see it. Hey, welcome in, Swiffer. How goes? Thank you much, Tim. Please get some good rest. Thank you for your stream, and yeah, we will do our best. I hope we can get through at least one room today. Ba-da-da-ba. Boop. Ba-da-ba-da-da-ba. Man, yeah, I have not actually, like, super thought through my day. It's a little goofy, because it's kind of nice to just, like, go, huh, I've got a little more chunk for just, like, doing some other project kind of stuff today. So I want to grab that thing lower, I think. I've got, like, a little sort of dice game thing that I've been making, not, to be clear, not to be released. It's just a little silly thing I'm doing for a friend, because they showed me, at one point they showed me a game that they played with themselves a lot, to keep themselves entertained when they were younger, that they just called Higher or Lower, where they would just roll 2 dice, and they would guess, if the number was higher or lower than 7, I think. Since their job has a lot of downtime where they get bored, it's been like a year I've been working on it, but just making them a goofy little digital version of that has like custom dice pips with their with like things from media franchises they like. Hey, welcome in, Quote. How goes? And also, hello, welcome in, Pug. How goes it for you? Seeing seasides, indeed. Half an hour, well, not quite half an hour, but chugging along, boop, boop, and not gotten super far, but we'll see. Hello. Yeah, so we'll probably do a little work on the dice game who's it, and I've been having a hankering. I've been watching a lot of long-form board games recently, like kind of along the lines of like Risk Legacy, Pandemic Legacy. Oh, goddamn. It's been putting me in a board game sort of like designy mood, which I've never like really. Ooh, that was further than we've gotten before. I've never actually like designed one from scratch, but I've helped other folks polish theirs a bit. But there's a game called Starfleet Battles that I have very fond childhood memories of, that it's sort of a Star Trek a Star Trek-based hex grid combat game, which you need to set aside the better part of a day for. We've not had time in years to set up a game, but I have a hankering for that. I'm wondering if I can like make a sort of simplified version of that still captures the things I want. So I'll need to think about that a bit. Oh wait, it does still say Carbon. Huh. I could have sworn I changed the title. I wonder if I did not hit save. Sailing the seas. There we go. Good call, Uno. Thank you. It's going all right. Glad to hear it. See a lack of Corb. No, indeed. We love the random week of board game motivation for literally no reason. Right? Exactly. And thank you for the hydrate. Because it's like, I do want to get moving on some of the like video game projects I've been trying to do. It's funny because like coding, well, making stuff in Unity, I should say. The coding is mostly fine. It's just game engines, man. It's way easier than having to like, you know, code every object kind of thing, but I don't have as much experience in them, so it always feels a little like bloated and hangly to me. Like, once I get the project, like, open and working on it, I always have a fun time, but trying to get myself started on it is always tough. Game engines, yeah. Probably also doesn't help that I've pretty much only worked, in Unity, which I know, but, it's, you know, it's what I know, it's what I work with. But yeah, I think I go through periods where like I will be doing like several hours a day for a week and make some huge progress, and then I will like not touch it for 6 months. But just gotta get chugging on that again, I think. Has some good benefits. As much fun as it is to make fun of Unity, it's popular no, and I loved Unity when I got started because I started doing stuff along those lines for I was originally trying to do basically a VR simulator for some like robotic stuff, and I was being taught how to do it in Blender by one of the teammates, and then Blender dropped support for the game engine, so started figuring it out with Unity, and got like a Windows mixed reality headset, which is actually surprisingly pretty plug and play with the Unity camera. So that's just that's what I've used, but I liked Unity because it had a lot of pretty damn good options for free, and it's kind of like we will charge you if you start making money off of stuff, which is like, that seems incredibly reasonable. And yeah, like, look, I'm not a fan of how they were, how they put forth the monetization changes. God, was that almost a year ago? A while back. Like that was spooky, but they did roll it back. They actually made stuff, I think, a little bit more generous for free folks, including like you can leave off the splash screen now and such. So, you know, they did a poor job of it. They did not understand it, but they rolled stuff back, and I'm not pissed at them anymore. So like, you know, somehow always find a way to break every editor I find in the game and just do very silly stuff. But game engines, they are built different. Yeah. Because they know people are going to be doing silly things. Find it easier to use a framework which offers basic functions like draw graphics on screen and make sound than a game engine. This is fair. And it's like, I think it depends on it depends both on your experience and comfort with things, as well as the application you're going for. Because like for doing a simple tic-tac-toe kind of game, I'm not gonna boot up Unity. I'm gonna boot up Java, and I'm going to use the canvas, right? You know, so yeah, absolutely. But for like managing things that are 3D, or even like complex 2D stuff with any amount of physics, yeah, you know, I find it easier. I guess if it's got animations, I tend to gravitate towards a game engine, but that's mostly because I have not done animations without a game engine before. But yeah, gets idea for game, opens game engine, creates a player sprite, makes a script to make the player move, never touch it again, is my favorite way to not finish finish any game. Kind of. I genuinely, I've gotten further than that. So like the, so the dice game, I got through and I made it so that I had an animation of 2 dice that would roll, and accrue points based on certain conditions of basically higher, lower, or 7. And I got that working, and then I put it down for like 8 months. Probably like 3-4 months ago, I went in and I got a whole bunch of stuff figured out for the actual, not the animations, but the sprites, so that I was using sprite libraries and sprite renderers so that you could swap between different backgrounds and different pip types, and got all of the saving stuff hashed out. So I've done that. Now I just need to basically implement the UI for being able to purchase and select which pips and which background you want to use. And then actually just draw those sprites, and then that person will have the game, but comes and goes in bursts. It's not even so much a gambling. It's literally, it's a game that this friend has used to entertain themselves. It's just guessing. So yes, it is gambling, I suppose. But it's, you know, it's no money. It's literally just, it's a point accrual thing, and then they can spend those points on unlocking other backgrounds. It's a way to basically let them entertain themselves without being obvious that they're, you know, rolling 2 die for 3 or 4 hours at a time. Oh, hey, that's how far I got on an experimental game. Got pretty much fully featured player movement and then just kind of stopped working on it. I will say that is about as far as I got on. I've had a number of concepts kicking around in the back of my head of games that I would like to make to sort of express and work through some of my feelings towards like depression and anxiety. Which, you know, I'm sure there's not a whole lot of games like that out there. Looks pointedly at the game we're playing. Got player movement worked out, doing it as like tile-based movement. But yeah, kind of petered out after that. Because I had the vibes down, but the actual realities of how I wanted to implement it, not there. So, still have that there though. It taught me a lot of things. I made a comprehensive document about the things that I learned with it, so that I can pick up from there, and if I do start again, it's not like that was wasted time kind of deal. That said, the one game idea that has been fermenting in your mind is going to be made in Defold. I'm not familiar with Defold. Remember when trying Game Maker after 3 hours, I managed to make a simple edit of the project and made a Bullet Heaven Hell mashup. Huh, Bullet Purgatory, ayo. First attempt at writing a game AI was in Unity. The learning version sucked. The learning version of Unity or the game AI. Handling physics and love is very straightforward. Okay. I'm working on another love project that is going to require me to make a bunch of graphics and finding excuses not to do that. Yep. That's, yeah, like, I do think that is kind of a big stopping block for me, is graphics, because my art is not where I would like it to be. But it's not even like, oh, I can do it, I just, you know, that's a lot to do. It's, oh, no, oh man, I'm not happy with, my artistic ability, really. So it's something where I'm like, ugh. I need to also learn to do better at that to do the things I want. Tempted to make a roguelite similar to TBOI? Could be fun. Y'all, we got so many dev types in here. It would be fun to just exchange all of our half-baked projects sometimes. Recently found an old boat racing game I made in Unity a while ago. It was awful. A sort of a wow, look at these things we made. Posthumous game jam almost. It's, yeah, possibly. That has reminded me, what is that game? There's a game, I haven't added it to my wish list, but I need to find it. I played the, like, first No, I didn't play it. I watched someone else play like the first level of it. But it's a narrator talking through. There's a bunch of game projects that basically like their friend made, and it's a lot of it is, yeah, like these little half, you know, the one I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm like, I'm sure I could look it up from that, but I can't remember it right now. But that is one I really need to pick up and play through, because the beginner's guide, yes, 100, literally going to wishlist that right now. Before I forget. Oh crap, I forgot. I was gonna buy myself Ori and the Will of the Wisps. It was on good sale, but sale ended yesterday. Whoops. We'll keep an eye out on it though. The beginner's guide. Oh shoot, that's only like 10 bucks. Still wishlist it, but like that's within a price range for a game that I'm very confident I will enjoy, where if I am in a mood one day, I will probably just buy that and play. Yeah, no, thank you very much, Bug. That's, wow. Woohoo! Yeah, like, I don't know, that reminded me of that game. I think that'll be a really good one to look through, especially as I'm trying to move on some of it. I had to deal with the graphics thing for Celeste mods, and that helped me get over the mental block of having an entire game to draw, but it's still, but it's still an issue since I'm not a very good artist. Yeah, no, and that's, I do really enjoy, I think I've heard it from like Pirate Software, but just like he's got a little site where he talks about just some of his like game making philosophy kind of stuff, and he points out you don't necessarily need good graphics to make a good game, right? Like you've got West of Loathing and was it Thomas is Alone, and you know there's a lot that use very simple graphics and still accomplish a whole lot. But I think it's also very easy to get a mental image in your head of what you want it to look. At least for me, a lot of times I have a particular vibe that I then spend a lot of time thinking about how I could communicate that through mechanics, and I see a particular vision in my head of what it would look like that is probably way out of reach for me. Right, but like simple does not necessarily mean easy, because the simpler things are the more every detail matters. Certainly, but at the same time, it's still something where it doesn't require, it requires more care and effort, but it doesn't require as much skill, I guess. Which for me, that is something that, I don't necessarily need to be a very good artist. I just need to put in the legwork if they are simpler. So it's not easier, but they don't need to be as good. They just need to be well loved and well executed at the lower level, I guess. I don't think I'm expressing that quite correctly, but I can make a game that is entirely rectangles I'm drawing in MS Paint. I need to think about, well, what does that rectangle convey more than I would necessarily with something more visually striking, but I can still do it with rectangles. And look, man, I can do rectangles. Shouldn't say what your intended default project is, because the more I talk about it, the less likely I'm going to make it, but it's going to be Silent Hill, but only the puzzles. I do remember you saying something about like the Silent Hill puzzle that everyone thinks is super tough, and you're like, but this was kind of the obvious thing, right? One of your more recent ideas for a puzzle game is called Spawn Head, which is a very specific idea for what the game would look like. It would orange and yellow and pixel art, but also have many swirly effects or something. Okay. Picked a Fold because it's Lua-based, and I fell in love with Lua during the development of Armed with Springs. Fair. Get what you're saying, though. The aesthetics of a game don't have to matter, and people can still appreciate the gameplay and have fun with it without it being pretty. Yeah, and even then, like, that can be its own aesthetic. Because, like, I haven't played a lot of the games that I would say do that, but like CGP Grey, I think, is a great example of a YouTuber who I absolutely adore, who uses stick figures, and granted, some of the art has a little bit more to it, but mostly accomplishes it with stick figures, and it has its own charm and appeal. God, is it Salmonella? I don't know, there's a lot of sort of like kind of talking head YouTubers that talk about interesting stuff, have interesting content, and are willing to use fairly simple graphics to convey it, and it has its own charm. Yeah, there's one that I'm thinking of that does a lot of, it's bothering me that I can't remember it, but it does like a little curly-haired MSP or MS Paint drawing with like, oh man, it makes a lot of jokes about not having anyone date him, but yeah, you know, that still is an aesthetic that can be appreciated. It's just, I don't think that's where our brains go to when thinking about ones to appreciate, right? Like, I think of Celeste and I go, that is gorgeous. I don't typically go, oh man, like, I remember West of Loathing. But watching West of Loathing, watching someone play through that, like, the goofy aesthetics of it really contributed to the narrative that the game was getting across. Remember this thing, I have no idea, but have a tycoon game in Scratch. Don't recognize your own code. You're not that smart. Hey, sometimes I look at my old code and go, whoo, yeah, I was way smarter back then. Other times I look at that and go, I've gotten way smarter, but but your idea is hard to describe for the art style. The puzzle mechanic is pretty basic. Okay. New CGP Gray video? Hell yeah. I tend to like stockpile those and then like watch all in sort of a burst when I'm in the mood. Say that Pizza Tower is an example of a game that people have a lot of fun with despite its astoundingly mediocre sprite work. Okay. I think I've heard people talk about Pizza Tower. I don't know Pizza Tower. Oh god. Oh, yes, I do. Okay, because yeah, that's that reminds me a lot of like Spy Fox and Pajama Sam. Kind of like the old like Flash game kind of dealios. I guess those aren't Flash games necessarily, but like that kind of point and click. Okay, yeah. And just looking at it, it seems like it's going for something kind of wacky, so art style kind of accentuates that. Yeah. I am huge on stylization in art. I hate when stuff pushes way too hard for photorealism and kind of loses any sort of soul to it. Think about Silent Hill a lot. I keep making Silent Hill inspired stuff, like my webcomic that has been on hiatus for 6 years, wow. But hey, Silent Hill has its grips into you. Whoa! Nope. It's like a sequel to Airplane Codes, but with mail codes. Oh, neat. I like a Wario Land kind of game. Speaking of yes, Mindwave. Yes. Oh, that is, yeah. We will see again. Like, if we got through this entire seaside, I might consider that. I was not thinking about that, but I will see about that, because, let me rephrase that. I am going to make a note. Also, welcome in, wait, brain. Jammer, there we go. It's like, someone new has entered. Who was it? Oh, bagels. The AWS source code I wouldn't be able to decipher. Oh yeah, no. Things, the way you write code changes a lot over time, I think. All right. Thank you much, Corker. Thank you for hanging out, and hope I'm good background noise, and enjoy bothering enjoy bothering folks at work. Not jumping off the blocks. Dashing alone was easier for me. Your call, though. That's quite possibly. Because yeah, jumping does impart a lot of direction that we don't necessarily want. The title thing for Spawnhead? Sure. Resisting the urge to say skill issue. Yes, Robert, of course. Oh. Whoa. Well, that's super sick. It's very, what's the word? Psychedelic? It makes me think a lot of, I used to love watching the Yellow Submarine animated movie. And yeah, it's got that sort of like very bright color, very swirly kind of thing. Hello, especially on the last block. Momentum really borks you there if you jump. Yeah. Whoa. See, except I've gotten into jumping habit, so I need to remember to grab. The title isn't pixel art, but the game is going to be. Gotcha. I don't know why, but I thought of the name Spawnhead and my brain went, this is the style. I mean, hey, sometimes brain just grabs onto the thing, right? So I tend to forget how all APIs that I use work and have to read the documentation for functions I have used hundreds of times every single time. Now, this, I will say more than anything, is why I do actually comment my code sometimes. Oh man. Because it's not necessarily, it's mostly because I know that the way I think will change, or the way I think about code will change, but the way I can explain stuff in English tends to stay pretty similar. So I basically, I explain it to my future self in words that I'm fairly confident will, the things that unlocked the epiphany. Or yeah, like if it's an API where I'm like, I'm probably not going to remember this, 8 years down the line. Okay, then let's write the high level explanation of it so that I will hopefully be able to use that to work backwards more quickly. Boop. Yeah, no, making stuff is fun. I need to mess around with more, I've done a little bit of D&D homebrew. The biggest one that I would really like, I have always been incredibly disappointed in D&D with how necromancy is handled, because I feel like that's a style of magic that a lot of people think is super neat. Like that's, I don't know, maybe that's just the circles I've been in, but in a lot of like fantasy books, necromancers are some of the coolest people. Often very evil, but still very neat magic, right? Working with spirits and the dead. And in D&D, a lot of what you can do to do necromancy is you can make a bunch of zombies that just kind of slogs down combat. Very powerful, but it's just kind of miserable to play at a table with someone who is adding, like 12 things to the initiative order. And I don't know, it very rarely feels very necromancery to me, because there's not a whole lot of like, yes, let us speak to the spirits of the deceased. I guess there is like speak with the dead and such. Mob combat rules remedy that somewhat, but I think that also we have done that before, where we do like we can either consider it like salvo, so that you're rolling for like multiple things at once and so on and so forth. Like we have looked at some of those. It's still, most of the time people seem to not feel that that conveys the sense of having a horde as much. What I really want to see more of is, I guess, zombie quality, which might be a little goofy, but I would like to see other axes explored where, like, the mental image of like the hulking abomination that's been stitched together, or the dragon that has been turned. I've got some stuff I was working on for that to also make it feel a little more unique and distinct from other forms of magic, but I need to put some more effort into that. Remember, someone was actually trying to figure out Denagahisa? Yes. Haha. I'm going to be pausing a moment, because I'm grabbing some buggles. Well, hey, the delivery. Hey! Oh, hey, welcome in, Zesty! How's it going? We're getting incredibly stuck on 1C. Just got some bagels for myself and talking game dev kind of things. Woohoo! Hope it is well with you. Oh, hey, we can grab onto the bottom there if we get it just right. Goofy. Oh dear. We have been on this section for the past 50 minutes, so don't expect much, but this is why I have a great deal of respect for you when it comes to your Mario Maker. Also, I know it's not a raid, but I'm trying to get into the habit of also just remembering how to do the shoutout command, because I've been incredibly negligent with it. But yeah, we often go raid over to Zesty, and he does some fantastic stuff and has great vibes, so if you haven't yet, go check him on out. Is this later game stuff? I've never played this before. Yes, so we have completed the normal sides for 8 levels. We have done the B-sides for the levels, so the sort of like the extra. And apparently there's C-sides. Unfortunately there's not lovely ocean here, so we're just kinda still climbing a mountain, but harder. Last block is weird for a subtle reason. Spot what's different about it to figure out how to handle it. Okay. Whoop. Ah. But yeah, so this is very late game content, Zesty. I guess I don't know if it's necessarily very late game. It's very late base game. So that's the last block. And I still don't know what's different about it. Yeah. It is most certainly. This is literally the first room of this level. But they are apparently on the they are shorter than most of the levels, but a lot more difficulty packed into that. So why is that different? So all of them oh my god, is it? Oh, it's because we're on the other side of the block, so we need to be leading our dash more. God, okay. All right, then we'll check that out. I will not accept that Uno until we actually know that he's streaming in an hour, but we'll give it that shot. Johan, look. I mean, actually, don't look at my shame. But yes, lead our shots more. Gotta pretend I'm playing Battlefield 1942 and using an aircraft cannon. Whoa. Whoa. Conservation momentum. I have indeed heard of that. I've been led to believe it's very important in a lot of engineering applications. A lot more, it pushes hard, yeah. But I don't want to just jump into spikes. I say jumping into spikes, so a lot of these I think I need to be grabbing closer to the bottom, but not like that. So that we've got a little more grace, a little more wiggle room. Or I guess it doesn't actually increase the amount of wiggle room for your window. It just changes when the window is. Huh. So I guess it's not so much important to be further down, but it's important to be consistent so that we can execute the same mental script, or at the very least, even if we aren't consistent, be reactive and adaptable so that we're not, oh god, just trying to do the same thing over and over again. Bop, bop, bop. Ah. Oh, in any case, damn. In any case, just briefly, the concept I've been tinkering with for on and off for several years for improving, like, necromantic magic in D&D is, I would like it to have an alternate casting source that has, I was originally thinking social consequences, but I think that's kind of a lot to ask of a DM, like, in a class. Because it was going to be something where it's like power the magic by like killing things and using that as a resource. Honestly, I found grabbing towards the top helped a lot, but the final block didn't push as much. Yeah. I suspect if we grab it towards the top, the timing will be a lot closer to... Okay, nope, we grabbed it towards the bottom, but we got lucky. And you know what? Sometimes you just gotta get lucky. 1 room, 1 hour. Woohoo! Oh dear God, okay. At least we get to see it ahead of time. So... Jump... Okay, and these move? Yes, you're serious. No, I know, I believe. Funny thing, Johan, you can't leave now because you will lose the wait, what? Huh. Gosh, it was cool to finally catch you? Absolutely. Thank you for popping in, and I look forward to catching more of your stuff in the future as well. If you don't save and quit. Okay, but yeah, I mean, I typically do save and quit. Will do. Thank you, Zesty. Returning to map will reset. Oh, yeah. I don't typically... Yeah. But there's not a mid-level checkpoint for it. But yeah. Alright. Yeah, that's not too bad. Sub-chapters. Checkpoints! Yeah. That's not too bad. I mean, that's... As long as I can walk away, I can quit the game, grab a donut, and come back to it, I have no problems. Never hide. Ah! There is one berry. The golden berry. And the other one, yes. But, how about no? But yeah, so what I've been tinkering with more recently, is a friend recommended a book series to me, which was kind of the first, like, purely for fun entertainment book series that I have read in a while. And it's called the Locked Tomb series. It was meant to be a trilogy, but it's now a tetralogy because the author started writing book 3 and then realized that they didn't want to let go of one of the characters that needed to be let go for the plot. So without giving them more time, so made a full book about it, which I think is kind of fun. Seasides are some of the easiest to golden. I can see them being a lot easier to golden because there's, I think in a lot of cases, what I've been discovering with Marsh is that just, even if it's all easy stuff, adding time and just more things to do really ramps up the difficulty of things because it's just exhausting. Whoop, what? But it's a good series. I'm enjoying it. Has some good characterization. It was pitched to me as lesbian space necromancers and pretty well delivered. But a very big thing about it is that the necromantic energy they use is derived from themselves or the environment, and can be used for a variety of applications, with different specialties, which I used as a way to sort of shape my thinking about it. So trying to basically create a constitution-based necromantic caster that specializes in necromancy but has a lot of different, so basically can only do necromantic things, but gets some cool sort of abilities and ways to make use of that as well, and utilizing hit points as the casting methodology, with like a sort of temporary, air quotes, pool of them that are used specifically for spellcasting. So, it's one that will take a lot of balancing, but I think gets across the sort of flavor more, and allows for some design space to sort of increase the quality of the undead, and also do more to explore other aspects like, yeah, spirit calling, things along those lines. the necromancer that gets knowledge inaccessible to others and such. Accidentally turned a level into 8-level text in Babazu. Nice. I mean, even if it's an accident, you still were messing around with the text in a way that led to the accident, which is somewhat concerning. It's like, I will say, one of the things that I know I'm a little weird when it comes to D&D and systems along those lines, but I love thinking about what the actual, like, ramifications of... Oh, damn it! I like thinking about the ramifications of magic and the like in worlds, because I think a lot of low fantasy where magic is more rare, I think is usually pretty decent about it, but a lot of high fantasy settings, I think, miss out on the kind of, the clear, obvious use of magic is things that improve one's economic, their economic well-being, and also just, like, general quality of life things. For every death spell, right, there should probably be, like, 100, oh, this does the laundry spells. And, like, I've thought about that in D&D, and I think it would be fun at some point to make a homebrew setting for a very specific kind of person, where the society has figured out that if you have your population be 1% druids, they can cast Goodberry at the beginning of each day and completely feed the population. And then I think, oh god, I forget what percentage I calculated would need to be clerics. And obviously, like, levels change it, but just basically providing the initial training. You could basically have less than 10% of your population be devoted towards basically all food and water production. Fabricate and mending and the like are some of the most primo economic spells. No, absolutely. But they aren't, yeah, no, Goodberry, 100%. Goodberry and create water. Yeah, fabricate and mending, absolutely, for, like, the day-to-day household things. But there are things that aren't, that's obviously not what Wizards is, you know, setting out to try to explore in the campaigns, and like the Forgotten Realms, they still have large amounts of agrarian peasant populations, when it's like, if I were a feudal lord in the Forgotten Realms, I would be investing in basically druid school. I would be doing a public funding initiative to go train 5% of those farmer peasants to be druids, and massively, basically massively improve the food production while greatly reducing the amount of time investment that they require, opening themselves up to devote themselves to the arts and whatnot. I mean, it would ruin economies, but it would massively improve the quality of life of people. So maybe, I mean, maybe that's the ostensible reason why, is that, doing such a thing would make it tougher to, hold power as someone outside of that, but you would probably get, like, the elite class of the people who are trained. You know, they would be a sort of more distributed elite, but I don't know. I would like to make a setting that tries to explore some of these things. Hey, welcome in, Essie. Yeah, we are indeed seeing round of D&D where you just try to wash the dishes but don't know a spell for it. Whoa. Issue with that is it distributes way too much power to people outside the royal sphere. No, and this is fair. It's similar to, like, you see a lot of empires along the lines of, like, Persia and whatnot, that, yeah, you basically had the sort of elite caste of nobles that were given, like, autonomous power over collecting the taxes and then basically funding their own private armies against the king and such. But it's still something where I have to imagine, okay, focusing up a bit more, focus, never mind. I still have to imagine that you would see some cultures develop along those lines, because, I mean, you've got places, even in the Forgotten Realms, that are supposed to be sort of more commune-oriented, and you don't see these things done. So it's, I don't know. It's, I would like to mess around with basically a post-scarcity D&D campaign that leverages everyday magic. Accidentally used the spell to summon a nuke instead of the one for washing dishes. That is the beauty of hopefully being low powered. Some king should be cocky enough to believe they can control the distribution of magic. Yeah, no, 100%. Like the king that thinks that they can control it through like licensure. Oh my god, yeah. I want people to get their druid license. It's not just classes anymore, man. You have to pass your druid exam. Can you make enough good berries? Oh no, never mind. Yeah. Look. We're getting there. Progress is being done even while talking about the weirdness of D&D stuff. Who is we? We, the royal we, the collective we. The me who channels you. Although, I guess I don't directly represent you, because I think the vast majority of chat would probably be able to absolutely rock my world. Boop. Ah. Non-magic missile. That's called a dart. The ability to control magic distribution ranges from impossible to absurdly impossible depending on the magic system. Yup. Well, it's, I mean, something that I find very funny is if you go, like, rules as written in D&D, like, there are, experience point totals for things like wild boars, which, I want to be very clear, are more dangerous than I think a lot of folks think of them as being. Like, wild boars are often, like, low-level enemies in games, so I think we are sort of dismissive of them, but you don't want to be... Let me rephrase that. I don't want to go on a boar hunt. Wild animals absolutely are scary, but boars in particular will mess you up. There's, like, has anyone here seen a boar spear? Like, you have to add a cross piece to a spear that you are bracing so that it's harder for them to run down the spear and still gouge you. Pig's scary. I know some folks from the I think it's Southwest US where they've got javelinas, which are still a massive problem, and like, yeah, you don't go mess with those. In a world with magic creatures, not as much. True, but when you're a level 1 fighter, but they still do give experience points. So even while they are scary, they are something that I think peasants have figured out ways to deal with and such. So you could go farm those and gain experience. You could have people doing EXP farming by basically being a pig butcher, which, like, gets a little goofy to bring experience into like actual world building, but just like in principle, rules as written, it would not be difficult for pretty much anyone to just become a wizard by killing a bunch of pigs. A massive cut above, what, 90% of the population? True, a player character level, but even if you're using, like, noble or peasant classes, basically someone who literally can hold a sword and swing it? Hell, not even a sword, like a spear. If you get 3 of those folks together, they can probably beat a wild boar fairly safely. Add on to that, just, like, you know, if you can, like, get some, it wouldn't be wild, but get some boars and selectively breed them in a fairly controlled environment, like, you could basically game warden your way into character levels in theory. Which, that is not one that I would necessarily want to explore quite as much, but for some sort of, like, painfully self-aware setting could be interesting to have, like, the incredibly powerful level 20 sorcerer that got there by running a pig farm. Just fire? There are cantrips for that. Bup, bup, bup. That is something that I really enjoyed. I think I've mentioned I found my dad's OD&D source books at one point. They weren't like, I don't think they're like first edition, but it is the first iteration of the game, not first edition printing. But what was beautiful about that is that was based off of Chainmail, which was a war game, and you weren't meant to be special, and you could start out with 1 hit point. And you were meant to be literally a peasant who was picking themselves up off the street and saying, I'm going to go into the dungeon and I'm either going to make my fortune or die trying. Yes, second room cleared, only 15 minutes? Hell yeah. My headcanon that being level 1 requires something innate, and that's, I think that is a good way to handle it for most campaigns. There's some sort of special spark that is required. You are a planeswalker. Yerp. But it's, I guess I think I gravitate more towards that sort of OD&D philosophy of, you are a peasant, and you got incredibly lucky enough to make it to that first position, that first level, and everything from there, you best hope you can keep it going, because it's going to take 1,000 tries before you get back there. 2 rooms of 3, time for the real level. Uh-oh. Once you finish every seaside, we should compare it to the times I got when I sped through all of them in one stream. Oh no. This is it? Uh-oh. Okay. It's not significantly longer. Time and deaths. Yeah, deaths is gonna be, it's gonna be a few of those. Uh-oh. Nope. Goodness. We might need to dash there, but... Nope. I was like, I think we can do it with just momentum. Did it 100% done. No flaws? Uh-huh. Do your assignments. This is the easiest of the seasides. Oh, I know, but... Ah! Too much. Ba ba da ba 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 da ba da ba. Yeah, I don't know. It's I enjoy I guess thinking a little bit too much about the ramifications of some stuff, because like I also think it would be fun. I don't know if anyone else would, but like looking at how they've actually structured the economy in the like players' handbooks, 1 gold is enough to live pretty darn well for a year. Like that is someone doing pretty well. I think it's put that basically a like noble lifestyle can be sustained for like 5 gold per year. Or not noble, but basically like you are a merchant, or you're doing like things in the trades. You could improve the life of a D&D farmer vastly by basically spending like 5 gold, just handing them 5 gold, because they could probably, God, I forget, I did the calculations at one point using some actual real numbers on like acreage and production, and basically figured that for an investment of about 50 gold, you could set up a farmer to basically increase their income about 1,000-fold, ask them for basically half of that per year to pay you back, and then do that for like another 10 years past that. You have doubled your investment and significantly improved the quality of life of that farmer for 50 gold, which is a highly attainable amount in most campaigns. Yeah, if they're too common, economy borks real quick. But on top of that, that's if you just invest that money, right? Like, typically you're basically going to the tourist traps, you're going to the economies that are operating with an influx of adventurers. So just go spend your money in the rural mom and pop shop in the hamlet, and really ruin the economy by wildly changing that stuff. But philosophy of you got immensely lucky is also great, but the drawback is that I feel the game has to diegetically accommodate that, which D&D does, D&D not as much, yeah. Dreamblock's funny, yeah. Assignment might have been assignments, as in 3 assignments, as in I did 2, because the third was a group project, and you have no group. Oof. Find that top tier is silver with 2 right now. Yep. Ayo. We're really raking in the cash on the Johan channel. Like I said, it's if they're too yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. But that's, I don't know. I guess that's, I like that concept. I want to see the world that is oversaturated, because I think a lot of times when I see campaigns and such, people do have a massive influx of adventurers, and they don't really address the consequences. In any case, thank you very much for the follow, Spaghetti. Glad that you're enjoying me rambling while making minimal progress. glad I'm a good vibe. Thank you for the follow. Well, oh, god damn it. Everyone has certain mechanics they struggle with. This is true. Different things click well for different people. Oh my god. I know that you can do a quick fall. There's not a way to do a slow fall. Or I could just dash rather than trying to grab onto the other side now, couldn't I? But that might be too intelligent. But let's see. Because if I try too much to do that, I just run into the spike wall. God damn. Okay. Lingo cord brain rot is getting to you? Dun dun dun. Yeah, that's interesting. Now that I'm not planning to grab back onto that block. Okay, so we can do that. I just need to be careful. Because when I don't do that, I am getting very far off and stabbing. Wow, unironically said Walk. Yeah. Economism. Yeah, because Robert enjoys testing things, and I think that's good. And that, I will admit, that might just be a function of the campaigns that I've been in, having, like, other adventuring parties and such, but I've seen that used a number of times. I'm just like, the people spending 1,000 gold on these high-level magic items could literally just build a city with that, just about. Like, not all of the city infrastructure, but they could take a hamlet, invest that in massive economic output increase, and then go from there. I did actually have a character at one point who was a rogue, a mastermind rogue that was the main goal was to basically highly charisma based, and then trying to pick up as many languages as possible to just basically be the ultimate, I can talk to anyone and anything, and I can make trade happen. Happy with your music right now. I made an extended version of the March 2 OST songs I'm going to put at the end of Spotify's deluxe extended remix version. It's so cool. Hell yeah. That's awesome. Silver out here making cool art and having fun with it. I want to say, Silver, something that I think is really, really neat, and I don't know if it's unique, but it's very rare amongst the people I know who create things. It's super cool that you are so happy about the things you make, because I know a lot of people who are massively self-critical about the really cool things they make, and it's neat to see someone who makes the cool things and goes, it is cool, damn straight. I do also another campaign that I've had kicking around in the back of my brain for a while. I love Fey bargain kind of stuff. And like the Feywild obviously intrigues me. I enjoy that kind of fairy tale kind of deal. And the sort of like weird logic behind it. And I think that doing a campaign that is very much it's less about the D&D mechanics and more centered around sort of like puzzle riddle solving and navigating the like society of the Feywild could be quite neat. Because man, I want to come up with the goofy Fey bargains that people are getting themselves into. You know, I want the warlock to have to decide if they really want this treasure chest or if they want to still be able to say the letter S. Do they think that they can get around their spell casting without being able to say the letter S? Like, and come up with very strange sounding things that you have to wonder about the logic of, but actually have like genuine implications and ramifications. I love that stuff. Okay, damn it. We will hydrate, thank you. Good part about losing all your Celeste saves is that you can surprise yourself with how much time you spend on a custom map without realizing. Oh, thank you for the hydration. I clicked the wrong button. Crap. Well, So, Uno, I'm sorry. So that has, the raid thing got accepted on accident. I intend to honor that and carry that out, but, in the future, if Shifujin is not streaming today, in the future, you've got a free ticket to just direct a raid without submitting that. So that, yeah. Alright. Whoopsie daisy! Because it kept it at the top of the queue. I also want to say, like, I really enjoyed doing the, like, 4-hour streams, doing the, like, let's do 2 games a day kind of thing, but I feel like 2 hours is a much more reasonable... doing the, like, 1-hour pre-records and 2-hour streams, I think is feeling like a much more reasonable and sustainable thing with other stuff happening in my day. Instead of it being the main thing of the day, it's oh, I get to come here, I get to do this, I get to sit down and do that. And it's not like, this is what I have done today. I still have space for other things. So, like, we're making some progress. I feel good about that. Because this is about as much Celeste as we would play otherwise. But I'm also like, oh, and after this I can go grab that snack because I'm kind of hungry. It's nice. It's relaxed. Wah. I think I need to also be more mindful of that at work. I'm the kind of person who... I really hate being super mindful of time. It makes it very hard for me to, like, focus and concentrate. But at the same time, I think it is probably good to take my breaks more spaced out than I normally do, because I work a 5-hour shift, so I get a 15-minute break. So what I typically do is I work for 3 hours and 45 minutes, take my 15, and then have just 1 hour left to do stuff. But it's probably better to take it a little more centrally. It's just also then sometimes I get, like, bleh later on. So, I don't know, I think it's kind of the, like, potion logic I have in games. Where I'm like, well, okay, but I might need that. I might need that eventually. So, I don't want to use that now. And that's probably not ultimately the healthiest thing. You have to be able to force yourself to do stuff. Potion logic, and you understood. I'm so glad. I'm so glad, Pug. But yeah, I don't know. Um, I have been doing a lot of stuff. Oh, I have spent a lot of I spent a lot of my life operating on I have to do this mode and keeping myself moving mechanically. I then, when I got into like college, sort of moved less on I have to do this and allowed myself to be a little more loosey-goosey with stuff. And it worked relatively well. But now in more like adult life, I have to reintegrate some more of the I gots to do the thing. Which, wait, hold up. So we grab there. Oh, it's because I'm dashing over to the side. I'm like, why don't I have the thing there? Because I'm getting distracted and dashing over, which is not how we need to complete it. And don't do that. But, you know, it's having to reintegrate more of, you know, I have to get up and go do job, you know? Which is fine, finding jobs that I enjoy and whatnot. It's going to be a little stressful because unless I can get, there's a potential full-time position that I'm going to be gunning for, but it's probably not something that's going to work for me, and even if it did, it's a 1 hour commute either way, so, crap. Maybe just dash there first, so I'm not having to worry about the jump. But so basically 10-hour days, 5 days a week would be a lot. And I need to be better about just being okay with that while not getting into the mentality of, oh, this is, I'm having to do this mechanically, I'm having to force myself to do this. And it's very tough to strike that golden mean. I don't really have that many further thoughts on that, but I think I've seen a lot of people struggle with that, not just myself. So if there is anyone like that, hey, you're not alone. It is tough to find the right balance between I need to listen to myself and my needs and take it easy sometimes, and I also need to not allow that to become complacency. Finding how to fire on all cylinders is rough. But we try. That's what we strive for. Imagine if the streamer I suggested isn't even live by end of stream. That would be goofy. And that's why I'm saying, so Uno, if he is not, if we are not able to do that raid, I will just make a note and you can just ask for a raid in the future. We will basically give you a raid credit. That was a save. Was, as in the verb of not anymore. Oh, right. I saved it, but not enough. What? Crap. I will say in that vein, I do probably need to evaluate if doing a video every day of the week, that, like, sounds good to me, but, like, in practice, I've been struggling with it a little bit, and I think it will be easier when I'm back on, I am back on my normal work schedule 3 days a week. That's going to be easier to accomplish that, because I will have more days where I can be doing stuff. But I'm just trying to think of, I want to figure out a pattern that is sustainable for working a full-time job, and you know that depends on commute and such. But I may need to come up with something where I'm like, I'm doing this now, but I'm going to give myself grace if I'm not meeting give myself grace as long as I'm meeting what I think is a sustainable pattern for like full-time work. But no. Lots of things to think about. Lots of things we're figuring out. But thank y'all for sticking around and continuing to make things a lovely time. Blah. Even though goodness knows there are better Celeste players to watch. Whoop. No. It is not. By no means. It is not my last stream. It is just, I'm saying thank y'all, because like streaming is not something where streaming is probably something that does eventually get phased out for just pre-records, and like we're kind of already in that. My default is not streaming on any given day. I am trying to still stream in somewhat a little bit you know, it is I'm doing them in a somewhat different capacity, just for being able to keep things sustainable and whatnot. But yeah. Oh god, dash. Just dash. Just trust the dash. That may not be the correct solution, but let's at least see if we can see what that opens up to us. Can't be his last stream got more stew to play. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. It is something where we're working on figuring stuff out, restructuring so that we can keep doing stuff. And that's, yeah. I'm thankful that even with rearranging stuff, folks are still having a good time and enjoying it. There'll still be 17 streams left until Johan beats farewell, yeah. Oh no, do not worry. Like the only thing that would basically make streams go goodbye in like a very quick thing, the two things would be if I'm like, man, I am just too deeply overwhelmed, I am drowning, I need to just stop, and I would say, hey guys, just letting you know. Which even then, that would not necessarily be a permanent thing. Or if I get the full-time job, and it's like, look, I literally do not have stream times during normal stuff. I could maybe do some Saturday stream. Well, there I jumped soon enough. God damn it. If I do get that full-time job, I will probably not be able to stream regularly. But just because I would be working a standard 9 to 5. Yes, definitely sus. But don't worry, there's a pretty good chance I won't. Because it's a library assistant position, which they typically like you to have like at least 2 years in the library working. Basically, I'm going to be applying to be a public service assistant, part-time, at one where it's probably a less desirable position. So I actually have a reasonable shot of getting that, but that's still a 15-hour work week with only a slight pay bump, so wahoo. Or the LA position, which would be full-time and quite good. Yes, meet Han Worklore, I know. Library assistant would be awesome. Huge pay bump. It would actually be like a livable wage, like low-level professional wage, crazy. And it is at a location that's a little goofier for folks, so there's a higher chance of me getting it, but also they'll probably just look at me and go, you've been a page for 4 months. Come back in 2 years. Red meat Han is Methan, yes. It's basically right now, my job is to take the books that people check back into the library and put them on the shelves. I also sometimes check the books back into the system. If I get the PSA position, I am a public service assistant, so I would be one of the folks that if you went into your library, you would say, hey Johan, I've got these books and I need a little help figuring out my account. And I would say, awesome, I think I can help you with that, and try and get stuff sorted out. If you said, oh, I'm looking for books on pangolins, I would go, oh, I can look that up for you. I would also personally say, I know that's going to be somewhere in the late 600s of our nonfiction section, but let's try and get a little more specific than that. And, you know, oh, I need help with the printers. So that's more along the lines of what I would be doing, plus checking in the books, which is basically what I was doing at my retail job, but in a for a thing that I think is a little more important and fulfilling, and an environment where I think there's better upwards mobility. Could absolutely imagine a library that had an ink spirit as a worker, right? That's there's a reason, right? The vibes work out. I just need to be careful not to accidentally get ink on the pages. would need to know your library location to say those things. This is true. Or maybe I go temp in your library location. Wahahaha. Gloves. True. True, true, true. The gloves solve all. If I did get the library assistant job though, basically I would then be working, so PSA, I get to work with the people on basically basic technological assistance and basic direct reference questions. So if someone like says, literally this is what I'm looking for, I can help with that. If you say, oh, I'm kind of interested in like books about scaly animals, I would say you need to go over to the information desk, because still would not really be allowed to interpret what people are looking for. Library assistant, however, if someone said, oh, I'm looking for books on scaly animals, I can have that conversation with them. It's like, oh, you know, like what kind of scales? What about scaly animals is interesting to you? Let's try and find some of that. Or, hey, I just have questions about scaly animals in general. I'm curious about some maybe like online resources. I could help with that. Which then as like a full librarian, that's a lot more of what you do. It's funny. The higher up you go in libraries, the further removed you are from books. You still are doing things with books, but it's a lot of it's basically turning yourself into a professional public researcher, and doing like programming, which are all cool things that I enjoy. Slowly but surely making a love program that lets you use game controller as a MIDI instrument. I've just figured out how to treat the triggers as buttons, and the analog sticks as 4 separate buttons each. Oh, neat! Fun! Ah, yes. No, definitely my last stream. No, it's just talking about how the jobs are looking. Because it will also get rough, because I will probably need to pick up, if I stay in this position or stay as a PSA, or not stay as, if I get a PSA position, I will need to pick up another part-time job, which will get to be some chaotic scheduling. So we'll see when that time comes, but yeah. Lua not running. Haven't even opened the game in Olympus. The mod manager already crashed. I can already tell it's gonna be a time. Woohoo! I just realized how weird it is that I never really thought about what library do, but now I've learned. Wait, people that work at libraries, yeah. No. I gotcha. No, and I mean, it varies. Different places do different things, but yeah, by and large, you've got people, and you know, some places don't have dedicated pages. Typically speaking, you have dedicated pages because, look, most people can figure out how to order books, right? So instead of paying them, you know, the big bucks to go do that for most of their day, you go, we'll pay some people closer to minimum wage to go do that, and then we'll pay other people to be handling the more detailed questions about how the system is being managed. It's basically pages move the books. That is what I'm doing. I'm trying to learn a bit about the systems because I'm interested and weird. The next stage up is being like a PSA, being the person that you're talking to at the desk, who's helping you get your library card, who's helping say like, oh, yeah, no, that book was checked out for too long, here's how we're going to handle the fine. Things along those lines. That's, you know, who answers the phones. Library assistants and librarians are doing more of the information services, because something that I think is a little bit criminal, at least in my experience, is people don't realize that, like, you can, in a lot of places, go book a librarian. If you have questions, if you're working on a school assignment and you need some help with the research, go look at your local library and see. A lot of them have tutoring resources, or it's like, oh, hey, I'm trying to find some information about, I don't know, 1400s France. Can you direct me to, like, can you help me find, like, what are some of the important topics in that era? What are some good, like, online resources? Are there databases that I might be able to look at? A lot of libraries also give you free access to databases with the library card and such. I mean, like, there's a lot of really cool services that they provide in addition to books. But, yeah, no, it's gotta be a dash. I keep forgetting every time. We book you for streams. I think that often would fall outside the purview of what they'd be allowed to do, or what I'd be allowed to do. I don't even, to be a librarian, you typically need a Master of Library and Information Science, which I don't have yet, but may be doing. We'll see. Depends on a particular scholarship that I'm looking at. Right now, the program is a black window that can send different notes for each button press because I really don't want to deal with making graphical interface yet. This is fair. Believe a library stays put on the ground, that's what it does. True. Local library is not local. So, like, do you share one with, like, more nearby township kind of thing? Or, I will book you for tomorrow. I'm going to turn you into a book. Unfortunately, can't really book pages. Because we aren't that fancy. No? Okay. Because a lot of them do also offer, like, ebook services. It is far as crap. Oh, dear. So, like, 3-4 hours away? It is not local at all. Damn. Some places do allow, some places have fairly big digital collections. Local, yeah, fairly big digital collections and will offer like online services. There are even some libraries where you can sign, literally just said I needed a dash there. Is online. Like you can basically you can get a library card fully remotely. So it's basically just like they've just opened it up to everyone, which is super neat. Plus, I mean, like Internet Archive, you can check out a lot of stuff there, although it's, you know, kind of under attack, but also a very cool resource. Oh no, there's a lot of neat resources and it's LAN. What? Martian toilets. Waha! Thank you for the flip. Toilet Morsh. Made it to 3 bits. Woohoo! Oh wait, but now we can't do the shave and a haircut. 2 bits. Morshoilet. I feel like throwing Morsh down a toilet is a really great way to need to call out a plumber. Like, I can honestly say, I have never shoved a fully intact marshmallow down a toilet, let alone one as large as Marsh is. But that seems like something that's going to get very sticky and very cloggy. Boop. I will say, last sort of library category that I didn't really talk about is library managers, because if you've got like a physical library, you need someone to manage the building. And on top of that, in a lot of cases, libraries are a really great place for people who are unhoused to hang out, and you'll get a lot of folks there. So that's a lot of building managers are kind of doing. They're typically speaking, you need to be a librarian with a library degree, but then you're pivoting into doing more sort of you are a manager and dealing with a bit of social work, which I wish more libraries had embedded social workers, or that was a requirement for stuff to better handle that, because there's sort of that dichotomy of libraries as a community hub versus libraries as a basically book resource, way of getting resources into the hands of. It's a way for people to group their resources so that you don't have to buy all of these books, but have access to them, right? And nope. See, okay, dash too early. And that is something I've seen a lot of folks talk about, and a lot of people are very willing to have that be a part of their library job. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a really good attitude, but I have also seen at some of my local libraries where the two can be at odds with each other and make it just kind of worse for everyone involved, because often libraries are not actually super well equipped to handle that. And it can sometimes get in the way of it can make it a worse situation for the folks who are using the library as basically a temporary shelter, and also make it worse for the patrons who are trying to use it for books. And that is something that I would like to see more work done on. But Yeah. Turns out places that have free Wi-Fi and are warm are places that people will make use of in that way. And I mean, I also want to be clear, that also applies to like teens, which, look, some kids who are coming in and having fun playing Fortnite with each other is not a bad thing. It's also a library. People are trying to focus on doing some work. And it's very strange because what I am used to is like media depictions of libraries with like, oh, stay quiet, shh. We don't get a whole lot of that. We have a quiet area, but we don't enforce people being quiet outside of it. And it's not like noise magically stops at the quiet zone, right? Because like we get a lot of families bringing their kids in and such, which like, again, all of these things are awesome. I wish there was more thought put into how to either make them all work together or how we probably should not be combining them as much. My charger, a keyboard, a mouse, and a controller connected to my laptop. I am the wire master. Impressive. But yeah, so I don't know, it's all interesting because, at least for me, I've got a psych degree because I'm interested in social work. So like, that's not necessarily too much of a turn off to me, but you know, it is interesting. It is interesting, the intersectionality of a lot of work and public services. What? And I am at crap. Okay, but if we can drop back down on that, I think that's the way. I think we can beat 1C in one stream. Wouldn't that be nice? No, okay, I need to be more careful with that. Then why buy a laptop if you're not going to use the included keyboard? I was gonna say, I'm like, I use a laptop for my streaming and such. I basically use it as a PC that I can pack up. But no, I will say, I had not registered. Using an external keyboard is a little goofy. Although I may actually need to start doing that, because as has been mentioned on a number of occasions, some of my keys have been unhappy because of things like Jump King and Hollow Knight, I'm guessing. Jump King has killed some keys. Exactly. We have become the king, but we have slayed the keyboard. Because I can't simultaneously use the mousepad and keyboard, otherwise the laptop says no inputs for you. Oh, huh. Intriguing. I mean, I'm also not personally a big fan of mousepad, but okay, if you use the mousepad, I can see why you would want those separated out. Seems like a design flaw. A bit, yeah. Oh god, sorry. I have just remembered something I do want to... I have not been telling like a whole lot of tales from the library because I don't know, it's I like talking in generalities more a lot, but I did not follow up with it because someone picked them up later, but I find some fascinating things left behind by patrons sometimes. And people have some interesting meetings, which I think I've mentioned, like seeing someone who's obviously in there just doing their dev work, and being part of like a meeting trying to explain that no, maybe we shouldn't add all of these features like right before launch. That they aren't just like a thing I can magically do. Like, you know, it's the classic feature creep conversation with corporate who doesn't understand that it's not magic. And it was like, oh, that hurts. I've also seen some folks come in. I think we have a Wicca circle that comes in to meet because they're often over by our section on like occultism, and a couple of the things they've said, I think they've been doing some basically Wiccan spell casting, which I'm a little surprised you're doing in the library, but like that's rad, awesome, go for it. I do find it really neat. We do have someone who occasionally comes in and uses our meeting room for prayer, who is Muslim, which I don't know, I always have a good day when I hear that. Because like I love the sound of them. But what really got me the other day was doing rounds. I'm not typically closing, but I worked a couple of closing shifts last week, and like while doing a sweep right towards the end, I came across divorce papers. Like, the person must have still been in there because I waited. I'm like, I don't want to just like immediately touch those. Because I try to typically, if I see something along those lines, I try to like leave it a moment, because people leave stuff and wander off a lot, so I don't want to just like steal stuff basically. But yeah, by the second loop they were gone, so I'm assuming the patron was still there and had just like gotten up to use the restroom. But yeah, it was just whole 100% papers for a divorce filing. I was doing the rounds. I was doing a sort of walk through the library, just seeing like who is still there, are the shelves in order, and then bam, divorce papers. Okay, I was kind of hoping that we could jump and grab under there, because it looks like there is space, but that's probably going to be trickier than I will manage. Leaving your divorce papers at a local library. Right, no, I mean, like, again, I think they picked them up, but it's still, I don't know, to me, it seems weird to, I'm guessing they must have come here to print them, but they were working on them, and got up to go do something temporarily. Well, a lot of people use the library for print services, because we have printers, and you can print up to a certain amount on your card. There's a certain basically amount of monetary credit that you get per week, and if you go over that, then we charge you. They were working on it at the local library. I mean, I agree. It seems goofy to me. I can somewhat see it, but like that's what I'm talking about. Like, we've got when you think library, what's happening in the library is very different than I think a lot of people expect. Because like I know people who have been working in public libraries for a lot longer, and the fact that in 4 months there's only been one arrest surprises me. We've only had one arrest. I didn't catch what it actually was for. I suspect it was drugs. But yeah, no, I mean, like, if you ever want like good people watching, your local library is a great place to just see the public in a fairly calm way. But yeah, yeah, no, the divorce papers really got me, and that really stuck with me. I feel bad for whoever's, going through a divorce, but I'm glad that they were able to probably get them printed and have a nice place to work on them. But yeah, it's like, I don't think that's where I'd be working on my divorce papers. I said people watching just remembered something you saw? Oh, okay. I'm intrigued. Oh, God, I will say that, for some reason, talking about you saying people watching has reminded me of, I was at an airport one time, and it was a bigger airport, and I know that public floors are fairly dirty, and I, as a matter of course, try not to like put anything on them that I'm going to be touching directly, but there is still like a baseline of cleanliness that I expect. I watched someone let their dog take a dump on this airport floor, and they picked it up, but they didn't like sanitize it, they didn't mark it to clean it or anything, so like that still has horrific God knows what germs. And I don't know, that just has, that significantly changed my view of public flooring. Like, actually seeing something like that has made me go, nah, I'm good. Which is even more terrifying because I do have to sit on the floor sometimes to shelve stuff on the bottom shelves. But, man, people be wild. Okay. What? I watched some guy walk into a breakfast place I was sitting at, laser focus on the coffee machine, poured an entire cup of still hot coffee but no sugar or milk into it and chugged the entire thing, and then poured a second cup and went to get food. Wow. So just a whole cup of black hot coffee and then a second one for the road before food. I am not a coffee person. I know people who are coffee people. That sounds intense, even for them. Oh my... Never had real coffee? In my opinion, it's not, you're not missing out hugely. I love the smell of it. I like the vibes and concept, but... Oh yeah, you drink coffee? Yeah, and it's like, that seems excessive. Only decaf? That's, I have only used, I try to avoid caffeine by and large, just because I'm like, I am the type of person where I know that if I do use that to get through my day, I will become dependent on that, and I do not want to spend the money on that, nor have that dependency. Because it's a drug, and I, no. Hey! Similar reasons. That's like, I will say, on the whole, of things to be using, it's not the worst one. It's pretty impressive with relatively few long-term, harmful effects. But yeah, it's also something where, man, I have seen, like, junior high school age students drinking coffee, which I'm like, look, I am not going to begrudge anyone their daily cup of joe, right? Like, coffee is absolutely a useful thing that I know a lot of people who enjoy, and it helps them get through their day. Junior high? Your brain is still developing a lot. That is not good to be drinking. Like, these are kids who are drinking like several cups a day of caffeine. That is not good for brain development. I'm already addicted to juice. Freaking juice. If I even have a sip of caffeine, I would be done. Saw kids on elementary school vape. No. Whoa. Man. Like, look, I'm not one of the cool kids who was doing a whole bunch of underage drinking or anything. So, you know, take me with a grain of salt. But, man, like, I don't have a problem with people who drink, who use weed, who vape, and when they're adults, right? I somewhat judge if you're, like, before 25 doing that, because there's still some effects on your brain development. But, like, you do you, as long as you're aware of that, make those choices. I'm not going to have some sort of moral or ethical problem with it, but man, kids should not be doing that. That's way too early. I've been drinking coffee since I was 10 pretty much every day. Man! It's like, the thing is, I have heard folks like that, and it doesn't always negatively affect people, right? It's just, it has a lot of potential bad things, and I don't know what... I have heard these kids saying it's because they can't get through their day, basically, otherwise. And it's like, that... Either what are they doing, or what is school doing to them? That's insane. I've never done that. I can't tell if that's sarcasm or not, Pug. I blame the high school I went to. That was... Okay, fair enough. No, and it's like, I can understand stuff, but that... To me, that's a good litmus test for something has gone wrong with school, with education, if kids are drinking caffeine to get through the day. Like, man, once saw an 8-year-old vape. Oh, and the thing is, you'll note, Nomo, I'm holding on this. because I'm distracted. But like, man, because I know there are places where there are young kids smoking and whatnot. It's just that to me that's a little alarm bell. Because no, it's like, and the thing is, I know folks who used to smoke. They were in bad environments, started smoking, and they use vaping as a better alternative to it to help wean themselves off with the goal of getting off of it. Awesome. I think it's useful in that regard, but selling it as basically, oh, well, this is safer. It's, you know, yeah, no, as was said, it's, you know, vaping is better than smoking. It's still vaping. Yeah, no, it's, I don't know. I have been, I am fairly, like, I would rather have fun, I would rather have fun without substances most of the time, but don't know. Hi guys, that one guy, who I'm pretty sure no one here even remembers besides maybe like Johan, is back. Hello, welcome. We are towards the end of this stream. We are seeing, well, let me rephrase that. We're trying to get this heart. Hopefully we get this heart, and that will probably be the end of things, but you thought that was Pug because blue with an artist thing? I can see it, but no, other blue named artist. But yeah, no, it's, I don't know. It's, I want people to be happy and healthy. I want people to do what is right for them. But, yeah, I don't know. No, we've had conversations about education. You know that I agree that the education system is pretty outdated, but man, blue with artist is a style. It's a lifestyle. The West Cat and Fluffy Pug and the Fluffy Pug. Doing it like at the dentist. It's like, oh, you're not gonna notice anything? One and done. No message, huh? I sure am blue and sure am an artist. We got the sea heart. Would that be a chart? Alright, fare thee well, Noble. The end graphics are super cute. Compare times and deaths, it will be funny. True. So, it took me about 2 hours, right? Because we've been doing it since the start. 3 minutes for opening the stream, but pretty much 2 hours on the dot. What am I going to do now is I'm going to be wrapping up the stream myself, and we'll be rating over, oh, you can check? Does Johan melt if the weather is too hot? Meathan does. Johan does not melt. Escape and then tab. Because Johan is ink. What is there to melt? Oh, wait. It might not, that might not work. Right, because I've got the controller plugged in, but maybe. Alright, bye-bye, T-West. Nope, not credits. Don't approve the reward till Wednesday. No, I'm saying, you know, I did accidentally approve it, because I didn't realize it was the top of the queue. I will write something so that you can do, so that will basically give you a raid credit. Out of chapter select or back to the, or go to the save file. Okay. Like go into it. Okay. Oh, left trigger. Haha. There we go. So, does it show? Oh, okay, there we go. Oh, interesting. Wait, only an hour? What? That, how is it counting that? Does it? Huh. Because we've been streaming for 2. Yeah. Something seems a bit off there. From initial success in the first room. Oh, because it took us about an hour to get through the first room. Okay. Fair enough. Those certainly are some times. Oi. You're not wrong. God, wow. Wow. 8 out, man. So you got 5 deaths? Oh, 1 minute and 20 seconds? So I got 764 deaths. Wow. When you die in the first room, time resets, basically for Goldens. Gotcha. Okay. Wow. Huh. My time, I played this game too much. This is fair. I'm still impressed by it. And thank you for the hydrate. That's I find people who get really into games and can do super well fascinating. I'm just really not that person. um that's as I think it's been fairly clear. I like to be a jack of many trades, master of none. Oh, never got full clear. Me? What counts as a full clear? Because I've gotten what I would consider to be fairly full. Understood, but what is a full clear? What does that mean? Because look, we've got all the strawberries. Well, because reflection normal isn't an actual level, right? Oh, all strawberries in one run. Ah, no. Yes, indeed, Sigma, we did just beat a seaside. So all berries, cassette, and heart in one run. Yeah, blah. But yeah, so we got through 1C. Apparently only took us an hour. It took us 2 hours because we spent an hour on the first room. But we did it. But thankful Goldenberry is not included in that. Oh, yeah. But yes, we are going to be ending stream. We're doing shorter ones, and we've been going for about 2 hours, and we accomplished the goal. So woohoo! Thank you for popping in, Sigma. um, sorry to yeah run pretty quick. But let's take a quick look, see who's live. Zesty is live. We can take a look there. There's also, if people do want some Rain World, Lindver is doing some Rain World. So I don't know the vibes, but bump bump bum. We can either some Super Mario Maker for continued platforming, or Rain World for still the sort of nice, sort of cool, chill vibes. But yeah, I think the seasides are going to be doable. Watch me eat my words and have this take the rest of the year of more sporadic streams, but I suspect we can keep chugging on these and make some progress. But yeah, all right. I'm proud that we got through that. Feel like most seasides will be good. There might be one or two that we might have to oh god, yeah, 8C. I feel like 8 in general is just the bane of existence. But I suppose we'll have to let that be seen. But we're gonna wrap it up. 3C and 7C were the hardest? Okay. 3C does look quite spooky. 7C, I'll be curious. Only person I've seen chip in was saying Rain World, so let's go check that out. I'll probably be running here pretty quick, try and get some stuff done, but thank you all for hanging out as always. This was quite lovely, and we made some good progress. Thanks for chatting about D&D libraries and all that good stuff. And I'll catch you, should have some time on Wednesday, so hopefully catch you then, unless power goes out from snow. Right on over to Lindver. And I will get Uno. I'll create a little credit for you. But yeah, thank y'all, and have a fantastic rest of your day. Thanks for hanging out. Be good to yourselves. Do great things. And I will catch you on Wednesday. But for now, bye. Oh, the work was fun, but the wages low. Leave her, Johann, leave her. I guess it's time for us to go, and it's time for us to leave her.